According to Simon Priestley, the likes of Hobart, Adelaide, Brisbane, and the ACT could grow by as much as 30 to 40% before the end of 2023. Now, that is as hot a market as you're going to get in Australia. In this video, I wanted to share 5 really quick tips that can help you take advantage of a market like this and make sure you buy safely and get the right investment for yourself or your family. Sweet, bro. So before we get into the 5 tips, what actually is a hot market to you or I, statistically speaking, so people can figure that out?
The good thing is there is actually data points that you can look at to identify whether or not a property market is hot at any given time. Now, there's 4 things that we like to look at to figure those things out. Now, the first thing is when a market is performing at 10% plus capital growth per annum. Obviously, property prices are increasing, and that indicates that we are in a hot market. But to look at actually in the moment, looking at the DSR score, which is the demand to supply ratio, that can give you an indication of how hot or how quickly properties are selling for. So anything with a DSR score above 60 indicates that you're operating in a hot market. It can be more of a seller's market at that point in time. And the other 2 things is when properties are selling really quickly. So the property hits realestate.com or domain and generally sells or goes under contract within the first week of being listed. And the last thing is to do with the negotiation. So generally in a hot market, you have to pay at least the asking price, but we've been seeing people paying over $100,000 more than the asking price. So if all of these things are happening at any given time, it indicates that you're operating in an extremely hot market. Now, when it comes to buying properties in a hot market, what are some of the things that we're actually looking for?
The first tip that I only found out about 5 years ago is to start talking to the top performing agents. So there's a great website, ratemyagent.com or openagent.com.au, where you can type in the suburb that you're looking at, find the 3 or 4 top performing agents, and effectively start building a relationship. So the key with that one is to give each of them a call, let them know what you're looking for. Now, in a hot market, they're less likely to build a really deep relationship with you just because they've got so many other people reaching out. But you'd be surprised if you call them every single week for 8 or 10 weeks, what they're going to start doing, which is bringing off-market, pre-market, and the right properties towards you. So that's a huge tip in a hot market.
The second thing is to have your alerts set up on realestate.com and also domain. You want to make these as specific as you possibly can, which incorporates having the right plan. So you're identifying the right type of properties that are in alignment with your strategy. Then you should get an email whenever any properties that align with your goals are coming onto the market. And because these properties should be selling within 1 week, you really want to jump on there straight away, have a look at the listing, make sure it does align with your goals, and then jump straight on to giving that real estate agent a call and organising an open for inspection or starting to get some more feedback, getting prepared for the negotiations.
Awesome, bro. So the third one is having a plan. Now, we've gone into this in many other videos, which you can check out on our YouTube or our podcast, The Pumped on Property Show. But really here I'm talking about a plan for the suburbs you're going to buy. A huge mistake that many first timers make is trying to look at too much stuff and therefore becoming the master of none. Now, in this instance, if it's a hot market, you really want to be looking at 1 to a maximum of 3 suburbs and really understand them so that when that alert comes through on realestate.com and then you can call the agent about it, you're all over it. You've got that confidence to proceed forward or move forward on that property quickly.
I love that. Now, the 4th thing is to be fully pre-approved. I think this is so important. There's nothing worse for a real estate agent to negotiate a deal, give you the property, and then it ends up falling over on finance. It will really burden your relationships with those real estate agents and will put you under undue stress and pressure to try and close the deal. Now, to go get a pre-approval, you just need to go see your bank manager or your mortgage broker to organise that full pre-approval. Then that should give you the confidence to start putting offers on properties and realistic offers, but also knowing exactly what your top level is going to be for that purchase.
Now, the last tip or the 5th tip is to take action when you find that right property. Hopefully by the time you find that right one, you know the market, you know that you can borrow money, you understand that it's the right property, and fingers crossed it's with one of those agents you've been building a relationship with. The only thing I would say before you take the action is talk to your broker, make sure finance is cool. Also talk to your solicitor and figure out what clauses that they want to add into the contract to make sure you're protected from a soliciting, building and pest as well as finance perspective. But in a hot market, it's not easy. Even us as people that have bought over $300 million worth of property in Sydney and Brisbane, in a hot market still really only buy 1 out of every 3 properties. As it gets a little bit cooler, maybe we buy 1 out of every 2. So if that's us, just know that you're gonna lose a few, which is fine. Just wait and be patient for that right one to pop up. And then when it does, take that action and set yourself up with the right one.
Now, if you follow those 5 tips, you should have some success when buying property in a hot market. If you've liked today's video, please like it. Please leave us a comment. But most of all, we would love if you could please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you want to share this video with some friends that are buying in the market at the moment, we know it is quite challenging in a number of different areas around Australia at the moment. So some of these tips and tricks could help them get the result that they want. But as always, please invest safely.
Whew, that's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Getting cool, bro. Yeah.
Oh, sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good. That's so nice.